lastly, my question to you is this, and I don't want you all looking at me silent. What do we think about this girl who's just come? I can't pronounce her name. Yes, we have quite a number of lawyers here. What do we think? Because one thing we're not going to do at YEL is shy away from reality, from some real problems. We may be right, we may be wrong, but there's no right or wrong. I just wanted to know what you think. Yes?
I actually think she shouldn't be brought back because in her interview, like with the whole, whether she had seen beheaded people or anything like that, she didn't show any sense of remorse. Like it was like a dead human being to that. I thought she would even feel like, no, because of seeing that, I want to come home or at least say something like that. But I thought if that's the case, you might come here, do something, who knows, and then you might not show remorse as well.
Okay.
I actually do agree with Brenda, but then part of me also thinks that when you've been exposed to so much violence at an early age, your body naturally, as a coping mechanism, kind of desensitizes you to those things, and it becomes part of your reality. And I suppose when somebody speaks to somebody, when somebody speaks to a person in that situation about what is kind of out of the ordinary for them, to them it's pretty normal. This is my everyday life, so it's not really a big deal for me to see people being beheaded because this is my experience. So I think a lot of people were really judging how she behaved in that interview, and I think I'm one of those people that feel that I do agree that she was really desensitized, but at the same time, sometimes people are awkward. There's so many other factors.
So the Stockholm syndrome.
Right.
Yes.
I think my question would be that if you want her to come back, do you think she should get punishment as well? For me, in my heart, I feel like if we leave her there, or if we bring her back with punishment, either or is fine. But it's the whole idea of if my grace in love, I'll say come back. But for me, it would be like life imprisonment. I wouldn't shy away from any sort of punishment to give her, because at the end of the day, she still made that action, that decision. The same way we're consistent when people accidentally stab somebody because they feel a pressure from their friends. It's like you still have to have the punishment for the action you did, and the face rehabilitation whilst having that punishment in that context there. But if we decide to leave her there, I still wouldn't think that was wrong as well, even in my heart. I bring her back.
We heard from the lawyer, we heard from the social person, we heard from the biochemist.
I think it was right to leave her there for the fact that I feel like the younger generation don't see consequences for their actions, a lot of them. And I don't think, me as a 15-year-old, I was in the car when I was 15. And first of all, run away to an unknown land and join some kind of terrorist group. Like, as a 15-year-old, you need to understand, younger generation needs to understand that there are consequences for your actions, that you can't just get away with everything that you do. You can't just, like a lot of young people, I feel like some of them do things thinking, they'll just take me back in it. And I think obviously what's happened shows that your passport doesn't give you the liability to do it.
Yes.
I think there were two things. One, I agree in the sense that I think especially because the case has been quite public, if the government was to put a light hand on this, that could actually encourage people to continue, because they think, I could go and then come back and there are no severe consequences. So I think the fact that it's even been made more public means the government has to put a firm hand on it. But at the same time, there's another thought, because I was looking into this, and obviously Sergi David, the Home Secretary, he obviously issued that her citizenship should be removed, and there's a bit of a question on that, in the sense that it's illegal by international law for you to remove citizenship, make them stateless, and so I don't think it's been fully proved that she has a Bangladeshi citizenship. So I do think that was a bit rushed, I think it should have been confirmed because right now Bangladesh is basically saying she has nothing to do
Yeah,
with
who will
us.
take
There
her
were
back?
no, and right now that's breaking international law. So
No,
I
she
think
has
that's
a
problem.
right to Bangladeshi citizenship.
Yeah, that's what they're
They
saying
say
as
that-
well, that because of her heritage. that
Yes,
she has
and
a
also
right.
if you're 21, then you can apply for the citizenship. After 21, then you can't. After 21, you're not automatic, but before 21, you're automatic. Okay, so who else? We're looking at it. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Sal.
Sal. Nice to meet you, Sal.
No, I do agree that I personally don't think she should come back. However, I'm the type of person who thinks what are we missing out on not having her back. There is like she said, you know, this is a 15-year-old girl. No 15-year-old girl will wake up one morning saying I'm trapped to ISIS. So it's a way if she comes back we can find out how she was brainwashed to do it and stop people to have from that happening again. So you're missing that potential by not having her back. But at the same time, you also got to understand that this is a woman who became a housewife before she got GCSE. And so
She became what?
before she
Because what?
so she doesn't have any GCSEs and she's obviously not educated, and so her mindset is very primitive, and it shows. Like she doesn't understand basic common sense. Like she doesn't understand what she's doing.
Oh,
She's 16.
Sal is bringing another argument in it. You're presupposing that once you have a degree or formal
No.
education, then you have common
No,
sense.
I'm saying she was so.
I like what you're throwing into the mix. You know why I'm asking us to do this? Because this is what real leaders do. You know, we sit back, we cannot continue to be armchair politicians. This is the reality of what we live in. At least if we know we don't have answers, we can go to God. But I just wanted you to know this is what leadership is about. And it's very interesting to see the different mindsets and the way that we're all coming at it from a different point of view. Please continue.
Oh no, I was just saying that it's not really about the degree or anything. It's about the fact that she went from not to living at potential, and she's very, she's stagnated. So her judgment, her knowledge, and everything is very primitive. So in that sense, she doesn't understand what's right and what's wrong. And so in her head, she's sort of like, well, I think I should just.
At what point do we understand right or wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, to be a housewife,
Yeah.
you need a whole lot of wits around you. So, yeah, so it's interesting. It's interesting. You agree? Very interesting. Huh? But
But she needs to face punishment.
she's come back and said she doesn't see anything wrong. She doesn't regret.
No, I'm saying I'm 15.
I think it's something it's immaturity.
At the moment she's 19. She's not 15 anymore.
But what he's saying is that from what she's experienced, she hasn't necessarily gone through. Yeah.
So how are we gonna elicit?
She's 19, but she's still 15.
How are we going to elicit information from her? How are we going to elicit information from her? How do you suggest waterboarding? Because she doesn't see real moss, as somebody will say.
Yeah.
You know, it's very interesting, isn't it? Because at 15, if I shoot somebody, and I just heard a 16-year-old took a girl from her bed, 6-year-old raped her, killed her, he's just been sentenced tonight. So is there, and he was on, he buys cannabis from the girl's father. Can we say that that's fine because he does smoke cannabis from time? Who knows he was high? Interesting. This is yes.
It's a crazy one because, like, I think that we still need to take into consideration the fact that this decision she made it when she was 15, and I feel as if it's also due to factors such as lack of guidance, lack of direction, and you know that could have kind of like put her in that mindset of, okay, let me go abroad and let me do all these kind of things, because she didn't have the right guidance and the right system around her supporting her. So I think, you know, like, I don't think the best thing would be to leave her there, because the fact that she grew up here and she kind of like, you know, she was affected by this kind of environment. I still think we kind of like need to review everything and see where did we also go wrong and how to, because the thing is, who's to say this kind of thing won't happen again? You know, okay, we can give her the punishment, but are we kind of actualizing this the right way? Is it punishment that she needs or mentorship?
At the same time, when people go to prison, they receive good regulations in prison. I don't want us to cross over was still broken.
Right, yeah.
What was done. So that
But
film-
the
This is
thing is,
ISIS.
right? No, I get what you're saying, but I still feel like even the rehabilitation that our young men get in prison, how effective is it because they go back? So how can we measure that kind of mentorship?
So then if our young people can't change, then what hope do we have of somebody who's seen beheadings and still doesn't feel that it's wrong? I mean, don't forget that you can't, the sensitivity is there, but inside God put in everyone, otherwise God can't judge. In every single human being, a capacity to realize right and wrong. That's why even a 2-year-old, when they do something wrong, they know. Have you ever wondered who taught children right and wrong? They know, they'll hide. They start as sheepish, or they'll just watch you before they do something. You know, I'm choosing kids. They just want to see what your reaction will be. And they just want, who taught kids? Who taught kids to lie? If you've ever had a baby, let me tell you something. That baby learns within the first few weeks what kind of manipulation. Yeah? You pick that baby up, it starts crying. You put it as soon as you put it down, it starts crying again. It knows exactly how long it's gonna cry and how it's gonna cry, and mom and dad will keep running and picking them up all the time. That's why midwives will tell you, crying won't kill them, it will expand their lungs, just leave them. Because they learn to manipulate very, very early. You get what I'm saying? Who taught those things? So if that is true, can we say that this precious lady cannot hide behind, I don't know what's right and wrong? Then what about every pedophile who was sexually abused when they were 3.5 years old for 16 years? I know, but this is what we have to think about. I'm deliberately letting us think these things. So you imagine if you're not praying for your leader to make the right decisions. And they sit around the table and this goes around and who knows what to do? And some of us are talking sentimental. Nobody has even talked prejudicially yet. Racism, the bloody serious, let her die. We have said that, but I'm sure somebody's maybe thinking that. You get what I'm saying? We told you all these Muslims are wicked people. A Christian can come from that point of view and condemn where God hasn't condemned. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is why we're going to have a proper debate about it. But this is a healthy place to be in. I like this. I like this. Yes. Did you make a point?
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I agree she should be left there. It sounds like really harsh. I know she has a child, but even at 15 years old, you do nonsense. You do. You take risks, but for me, taking a risk to go to another country, knowing that you have full citizenship, full rights in the UK, and then you decide to go to another place to join a group that is against the country that you're actually in, is, you know, that for me, it shows that she was in the right frame of mind. And it wasn't until 4 years later now that you want to say, oh, I want to come back now.
The interesting thing, she's wanting to come out on her terms. That's what I find interesting. That she didn't say, oh, I really didn't know what I was doing. I'm so sorry. It was so wrong.
But is it lawful to leave her there? I think that's the main question, because it's not just about what we think is right. It's by the government's UK government's law. And
It's unlawful so far. Why doesn't Bangladesh also take it? I'm just
because she was
an advocate here. So Bangladesh too can pick her up.
But she was originally a UK citizen, and so even though I would rather she be there, it will go by law.
Well, Syria is a nation. She's somewhere at least. She's not hanging out. It's amazing. It's amazing that none of you have mentioned the baby. I'm gonna take one last Bobby. Oh, Jeremiah, sorry, I beg your pardon. Then we move on.
I think regarding that, I haven't read into it too much. I haven't looked at it, but I think when we look at the historical perspective of how,
See, somebody's gonna be a historian right now.
when you look, I was thinking about Algeria because I did world history and I started looking about Algeria, and the government or the people in power couldn't figure out why they couldn't stop the terrorist bloc from being able to be successful in the terror plots, and they found that the rebels or the opposing team was hiding in women's clothing and women's garments. So I think even though I'm making the assumption that they were Muslim, it's almost like the UK government says yes and invites it back in. They said based on your gender and who you are, we're going to accept you, and it sets a standard for other women that follow this. And I think it would be a terrible step.
If it was somebody who's saying, I need to come and father my 3 kids that I've left behind, we say the same thing. I like this argument. I just really do.
So, and that's why I say, oh, when you her age and look at the gender role that she played within, we can't overlook the fact that women play a different role in ISIS than men, because then we'll put them on gender roles. So we ignore her gender and look at maybe what she's done. Even looking at what she's done will cause you to think, oh, she's innocent in a way, but will set a better precedence for going forward when these rebel groups rise up again. So I would ignore the fact, I'm very American, so I would think, the MI6 we just get on this, they'd be like, they're just crushing, they agree on nothing. So I think these sorts of arguments have to be put in place. It's like, it's not for the general public to make an assumption. This is for the better interest of the country, So I would draw that up, like, you know what, let's think of the ripple effects, let's think of the global effects. We're going to set her president says this is unacceptable behavior, regardless, and there's no exceptions. But I haven't listened to her testimony. So, let's just say that.
And yet he's concluded for the nation. Bobby, last word for Bobby.
I was just going to say, before she decided to leave, there were countless times that they tried to bring her back. And I think when that comes into play, how many chances can you be given for we basically come back to shore, so we leave you out there? I don't know, I think we weigh both options. She should kind of be left out there, but then again, like when it comes down to it, if she was to repent for her sins and thinking God will forgive her and everything that she's done. So it's weighing up the 2 options of, am I going with head or am I going with...
It's amazing that if God forgives you, you still have a ramification.
You have to.
And it's what about that murderer, serial murderer who comes to Christ in prison? It's amazing that God doesn't open the door for them to just walk out like that. And sometimes they have to live out. And some of them even go to the, what the thing that the Americans do? Death row. Still as believers, strong believers. This is what happens when you start discussing an emotive subject. It's okay. 2 or 3 people, 2 people can just take care of it. Okay. That's a real leader right there. He rose to the occasion immediately. But you get what I'm saying. It's amazing that nobody still brought up her child.
That's the only thing that makes me race
And now I'm just thinking that what if she also comes and starts a cell, a sleeper cell? Who is to say that there are people?
She would be thrown in prison.
Yeah, but who says you can't? Muslims are being bred in prison. One of the fastest growing movements amongst young people for Islam is in our prisons. It's interesting, but we will come back to this subject. But I just wanted to hear what you had to say, and just the fact that we all have such divergent ideas and perspectives on the matter shows you what goes on, gives you an inkling into what goes on in Parliament. Now,
Sorry, we've got a comment from online
okay,
as well. So
who is it?
Sadiq says,
Sadiq,
the
okay.
government has to balance the needs and safety of the population versus this one young lady. I think it would be sentimental and unwise for the government to let her back in the country. The same people that say allow her back will speak against the government if she blows something up.
I think it's, well, that's it. Sorry, what did you say?
I don't know, I doubt she'll be going.
Shoot, you tell her.
Leon.
But she was married to a 19-year-old, was she, or 27? 27.
Well, that's the age gap.
Was he 27? Okay, anyhow. So, Father, we just want to pray for her. So, why don't you just pray for her? Because she's a soul, she's a life, she's loved by God. Whatever, like Sal said, she's had such a terrible upbringing. She may not be quite there, but it's incumbent upon us to bring her before the mercy seat of God and say, God, that's another one. You transformed Moses, who murdered somebody. You transformed Paul, who was, a plain murderer in cold blood. He incited, he had a sleeper cell, Lord, that incited things against Christians, and he killed Stephen in cold blood, and he was at the forefront. Yet you made him one who brought in the law. You pardoned him. And so, Lord, we bring this lady before you, God. You are the one who's at work in us, causing us to win and to do of your good pleasure. You are the one who told us that Satan has held men in bondage and in prison, but you open prison doors. Why don't you just bring her before God right now? The life, and pray, bring the government also before God, that they may know what to do. That's right. He knows what's right. He knows what the future holds. He knows her real heart, her real motives. He knows who is behind what she's doing. He also treasures the safety of British people. That her destiny will not be decided by the sentiments of men or the futility of men's opinion. But just as Solomon did, we ask for the judgment call of God, the wisdom of God, the insight that God has. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. How many still think that being a leader is easy? That's why for me, you see, when we have prophetic training, the ability to hear God, we're going to have some more of those this year. The prophetic training we have, so that we may know how to hear God. The Solomon this is a life of a baby is in his hands. What if I give to the wrong mom? And he has to have capacity to know how to discern the will of God. And we're pointing fingers at politicians. But this is what it is. The most dangerous leader is an ignorant leader. The word said this, he says there's nothing more dangerous than an active ignorance. And so we will not be people who act on our ignorance. Who knows what the whole future holds? Who knows what's behind that? That it only takes the discernment of God. That's why we need to grow into leaders that are sharp, that know the voice of God, that discern things, that see things the way God sees things, and feels the way God feels without condemning people. Well, you've been a great people. I feel like what's that program on TV again? Question time. Everybody, or is it some other one that people bring on their opinions? Okay. Well, tonight, very quickly, for the next few minutes, I wanted to share with you, starting strong in 2019. Like I said, this is not really, I'm going to preach at you today, but it's okay, it won't hurt you. So Psalm 86 verse 11 says this. As we start our new year, what do you see when you see artists? Just look at me. Not artists, those who run. Athletes. That's it. I haven't had any supper tonight, so excuse me. When you see athletes start to run, would you say, has anybody been an athlete before? I used to run for my school, but don't tell anybody, but I came last in the 200 meters. That's a long time ago. And I didn't even have a broken tendon or a muscle pull. I just was last at the finals.
I used to run and I used to play netball.
Okay, hey, I used to be thrown out of the hockey and the netball because I couldn't remember the rules, but that's for true. So what do you do to warm up if you're going to run? Do you just get up and come to the start point and run?
Stretch.
Okay, you do stretches, okay?
Yeah, you do laps.
Okay, you do laps. Is that important?
Yeah.
Why?
You might get a stitch.
You might get a stitch, so it might impair you from running your race. So you see, it's not about just going into the race of the year. What you do is to prepare yourself, to position yourself before the start of the race is part of the race. So your stretch and your running around the lap, running around to warm up and get your body ready is part of the race. Okay, what else is important at the start of the race? What about the gear you're wearing? Yes. Jude? The right shoes are important. Spikes, okay? Sorry? Being mentally prepared, like how?
Like focus and positive.
Okay, focus. So Yeah, so I guess as an athlete, you're not gonna now stand there and start thinking of all manner of things, right? Okay? What about other preparations do you do? Yes? What you eat before, okay? Because you know you're gonna take this journey, and so it's important. Can it slow you down what you eat? Okay? What else?
Hydration.
Sorry?
Hydration.
Hydration is important. What about your opponents? As a runner, do you think you say what's his name? You used to think of everybody he has to race against and know what their timings are? Yeah, you would. Because you need to know what the competition is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Well, the blocks, the starting blocks, are they important? Because I see them, they might do this and then they come off and do they test the blocks to see? Yeah? So we don't have a whole lot of athletic people.
Knowing your limitations.
Sorry?
Knowing your limits and your
Know your limits, your strengths. Okay. So much goes into the beginning of a race or the pre-race that counts as part of the race, because in any given situation, if you don't do those things, the likelihood that you're going to win the race is less, isn't it? Okay? Because you didn't do your homework. And so part of what I want to say to you today comes from that. I want you to have a certain perspective of life. I want you to have a certain understanding of God and of yourself and of the things that you must do to make sure that we have a successful future. And so look at this, what the psalmist says. This is his starting block. This is his warm-up. This is his stretch. It's Psalm 86 verse 11. He says, I'm going to start life, Lord. I'm going to be a leader. Now, so that I can be a successful leader and not be disqualified, teach me your ways, O Lord, that I may live according to your truth. He's not just excited about the prospect of leadership. He's saying, I can't do great leadership unless I know your way. The way there, the word way there is the Greek word direct, or the Hebrew word direct, which means pathway, the ways to take life, the trodden pathways. In other words, literally, what he's saying is, teach me the path that I may take so that I can arrive where I should go. In other words, every time I put on ways, I'm saying, teach me your way, that I may arrive at your Rama. If I didn't have the ways on with the traffic coming from Essex, I'd still be on my way by now. And we went through some back routes, okay, to avoid traffic. And so he's saying, I'm starting the race of life, every race of leadership. Teach me your ways, O Lord, that I may live according to your truth. Grant me purity of heart so that I may honor you. I want you to pray this prayer all the time. These are good prayers to pray. Don't just ask God to bless you. When you have these things, blessings follow. Okay? This is a good prayer for any leader. You're going to be, people's future are going to be in your hands. You better know the mind of Christ. That you don't judge things by how you see or what you hear. And so, listen, foundations are important. The foundation of how you think and how you build your life. In Matthew chapter 7 verse 25, Jesus says, and the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall. Why? Because it had been founded on the rock. Jesus was trying to tell us as a principle in life that whatever you found your life on, your journey on, will determine whether you stand the test of time. Will determine how you finish up at the other end. So what I'm trying to share with you tonight, in a short while, will be building on the rock. Building on the wisdom of God, on insight that God gives us to build. Never, always, when you go through life, stop at some point and say, what materials are going into the building of the house of my life? What materials are going in there? Who's influencing your thinking? What's influencing your thinking? In a way, I'm very worried about social media. I'm concerned about social media because people reinvent themselves on social media. I read stuff about people on social media, I'm like, is this the same person I know?
Wow.
And it's very easy to be fooled by that. You can read social media and start being jealous of everybody else, or start thinking you are nothing. Your life is nothing. I guess that's where I had the privilege of talking to somebody who worked for the NSPCC for about 17 to 18 years. She said she doesn't do social media. So I said, Sarah, why did you? She said, no, I saw the damage it did to kids. Half the stuff, the people who kill themselves and the kids who self-harm. She said, people create images that are not true. And others mark their lives against it and informed by it. She said, I saw damage over damage over damage, and she said, I couldn't be true to myself if I went on social media. Because it's informing the way people live. I think it was yesterday I saw a girl who had Down syndrome become a model. Did you read that? Some random thing I came across. But she's changing perceptions. Thank goodness we all don't have to be anorexic. And apparently the branding in Silicon Valley don't call it anorexia anymore. They call it selective eating or eating something or the other. They don't call it an eating disorder. They found some nice marketing name for it. But we're all living our lives like that. If you're like this, you're like that, you want to make money, you want to drive this kind of car, you want this quality of life, because somebody said so. Stop and ask yourself, what qualities of building material are going to my life? You see, fruit is determined by seed. The root determines the fruit. Foundations determine how far up we ascend to, what we achieve, and how strong it is. Altitudes, accomplishments, stability, and growth are all determined by the foundations of thinking that we have. Let me ask you, as a leader, a growing leader, what are your values? You put down all manner of things that you want to achieve this year. I think it was Brent who was asking about New Year's, what did you call it?
Resolutions.
Resolutions. But how many of you actually put down values? Values are non-negotiable qualities that inform your decisions. How many of you actually put down values? The kind of person I want to be this year. Before you put down what you want to have this year. Because the kind of person you want to be is going to determine what you want to have and how you have it. True leaders who make it, leaders who God applaud, have values. Write down your values, please. That's the next time we come here, we're going to make time to write down values. I'm going to show you how to recognize their values. What kind of person are you becoming? The most dangerous thing is to teach our young people what they can have before we teach them what kind of people they must be.
Wow.
So we've seen it all. People, rich kids who respect nobody. And then they go on and they become your parliamentarian or your minister. They haven't grown up with any values. So every law they make, everything they put in place is informed by the kind of person they are. Do you think the way God thinks? Psalm 11 verse 3 says, if the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? If we don't even have good valued foundations, what does the future does the nation have? Two things are important. I always tell you about it, posture and positioning. The posture is the position in which one holds one body when standing or sitting. It's a particular attitude or a particular approach to life. And I was glad to hear that all of you hadn't lost your sentimentality, your sensitivity, your compassion. That's what I heard tonight. Above everything else, compassion. Nobody was really vehemently harsh. We felt guilty about being harsh because there was compassion. It's good. It's a good value to have. Although somebody says altruism must be tempered with a sense of reality. Okay, and that's what we're trying to maintain today. That tension, that balance between being compassionate, merciful, and being just, which our lawyer lady here kept reminding us of. Your posture is your standpoint, it's your view. That's important for a leader's life. Well, what's your view? What are the lenses through which you look at life? What's your position? Your position is a place where you are located. It's a particular way in which something is arranged or placed. It's your stance, again, it's your placement, it's your disposition. It's your attitude towards something. And as we begin this new year, it's important. As things change so fast in life, it's hard to catch up. Tomorrow, you wake up, you don't know what the news is going to bring. That if you haven't already decided what your values are, your attitudes, your perspective is going to be in life, somebody else is going to inform them for you. And unfortunately, the media has been doing this for us for a long time. So I'm going to run through a few things very quickly. Number one, what is God saying for the year? For me, I think that, and I've said this to you even last year, for a trend of time, some things have changed. That the Egyptians you saw in the past, have I told you that before? That the Egyptians you saw in the past, you will see them no more. And what does that mean? Do you know that when God made this statement in Exodus 14, just as Israel was about to cross the Red Sea and the Egyptians were coming behind them, and God told them that they never fought the Egyptians no more. God's word is true. But Israel fought a lot of battles, but they never fought the Egyptians no more. What was the difference? And I was telling God when I felt like God said that, I said, well, God, we always say that. How many of you have ever said that before? If you come from a good black Pentecostal African-based church, you know you said that before. The Egyptians you saw yesterday, you don't see them anymore. And because you feel like somehow if you cross over into the next year and it's 1st of January, you won't see any Egyptians anymore. Then warfare starts again and you're like, where was God in all this? All right. So what happens with the Egyptians is this is why God said, God never said that you're not going to fight any more battles. In fact, prepare yourself, the battles are going to be more intense. What it is that the Egyptians represent limitations. They represent oppression. They represent something that kept you bound and limited. Something that kept you from pressing through. Something that kept you from breaking out. That's what the Egyptians represented. And God says everything that kept you bound and limited and small and kept you down under is over. It's broken. You're going to fight. But watch this. What did Israel's battles look like after they left Egypt? Now, actually, in Egypt, they didn't have to fight. God brought the rescue. It was after that they had to fight. God's done what he has to do. Now you have to teach your hands. He has to teach your hands to do battle and your fingers to do warfare. And now what happened is they fought. Who did they fight again? After the Egyptians, when they came through the Red Sea, who did they fight? The Amalekites?
The Moabites.
The Moabites? The Philistines? Every ites that there was. The Hittites and all the Tites, right? They fought them, but watch this. It was not a battle to be free, it was a battle to possess. This year you are not be fighting a battle to be free. You're already free. Now start taking up what you must take up. Start picking up what's available to you. Start thinking differently. Stop saying, if only I had this. No, you have it. Just saying, I'm going to take this now. This is available. I'm going to go for this job this year. I'm going to start this foundation this year. I'm going to believe God for this thing to happen this year. Stop looking at what you don't have. You're never limited. You've heard me say this a million times. You're never limited by what you don't have. You're only limited by what you don't do. Make some major decisions this year. Fight a worthwhile battle. Egypt is no more. Egypt is the only one who has the capacity to keep you in prison. Kept them in prison for 430 years, but they broke loose. After Moses, it was Joshua, and it was all about possessing their possession. And we heard Madam Brenda tell us that it was a shame that some people never possessed their possession. And other people enjoyed the grapes. Next thing is, you shouldn't have left Egypt 2018 in a hurry and empty-handed. What do I mean? How many of you ever said, I can't wait to get into 2019? Come on, tell the truth. What is the rush, Carl? Tell me. Sal, what is the rush? Why does everybody say that? I can't wait to get...
Mainly choir practice for
Sorry?
Christmas.
Huh?
It's mainly the choir practice for Christmas.
It was a choir practice for Christmas. Choir practice for Christmas you couldn't take. But why do we always say that? I think that we say that thinking in some deluded way that somehow when a date changes, everything else changes. Right. But also, remember that there's always going to be things that are in 2018 that you're going to need in 2019. Pharaoh told Moses, if you want to go, go. After refusing them permission to go for a long time, one day he says, okay, if you want to go, go. Now, if I were Moses, I'm there like a shout. 430 years, and suddenly one day the guy says, go, we're gone. But Pharaoh put a caveat. He said, go as long as you leave your cattle.
Yeah.
Now, how many know, my rationale would say we can always buy some cattle on the way. Our human life is more valuable than the cattle. Let's not. This guy's been known to change his mind several times. Let's get out of here before he changes his mind. But look at what Moses tells him. Moses says, we will not even leave a hoof of one cattle. It's not the fact that you're asking us to leave it. He says this. He said the reason we don't want to leave anything is that we don't know what God is going to require of us for a sacrifice when we get into the future. Whatever the enemy is negotiating with you to leave behind is exactly what God is going to ask you for. Some of us leave behind relationships because we can't be bothered.
Wow.
Do you know how many of us walk out of jobs? Not because they were bad, it's just that somebody was getting up your nose so you couldn't handle it. There are many reasons why we make our decisions. But this year I want you to be very particular about the decisions that you make. What is it that the enemy is negotiating with me to leave behind? Because I'll tell you something, you may not like that supervisor, you may not like that manager, you may not like the circumstances surrounding the job, but if you uproot and you leave, you're going to live to fight the battle another day, because God can't trust you till you've been through that. Do you know how many people, she's getting on my nerves, I'm not talking to her anymore. Well, I'll tell you something, God's going to have somebody 3-5 times worse than her waiting around the corner 3 months away. And this time you won't be able to get away from it. You're looking at me like, am I making sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Ask yourself, what is it that God's going to need? There are no shortcuts. You want to become a great leader? There are no shortcuts. Every day I'm asking myself, can God trust me? For me, that's the bottom line. Can God trust me with a nation? Can God trust me with a city? Can God trust me with a community? Can He? He gave me His anointing, so He knows I have an anointing. But can He trust my heart? Can He trust my judgment? Can He trust me not to negotiate for my nearest comfort? Can He trust me not to pray that 2019 will come quickly so that I don't have to go to another choir practice? You knew I was going to get you there, right? Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. What are you negotiating? What have you left behind? And then God told them, go borrow from your neighbors. The word borrow means to request, lay a demand. It's time to put a demand on some things that didn't show up in 2018. He told them, don't you dare leave. These people, I can imagine Moses telling God, are you out of your mind, God? Excuse me, Mr. God, I know you have always said, but sometimes you talk things that don't make sense. These people have oppressed us. They're not even giving us straw to build. You know, they're treating us as they know us a lot, let alone going to ask them for money. Think about it. Does it make sense to you? So God is not asking you to be nice about things. To request means to demand. To lay to charge, to inquire, to earnestly obtain. In other words, I'm not leaving here till I have that money in my hands. I want you to have this attitude. Whatever it is, you know God promised you in the season past. It hasn't happened. It's very easy to shrug and say, oh, if it's God's, que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. For some of us, that's it. What's the phrase I'm looking for? That's a cop out. Oh, if it's God's will. I remember talking to Margot about something and I said, maybe, she said, no, Mom. She said, no, I know this one didn't feel like it was God's will. I know it was an attack. I know I have to fight for this one. And she fought for it. But it's very easy for us. Sometimes we're lazy. Sometimes we can't take it just to give in and say, oh, if it's God's will, He will do it. May God give us discernment to know what is His will and what is not His will. Are you hearing me? Are you bored? You okay?
No.
Okay? Lay a charge, lay a demand. Demand this thing, insist on it. Don't give up. It's actually funny, I'm not really a numerology person, big time. No, I believe in biblical numerology, but the 19th time Abraham is mentioned in scripture, because this year is a year of faith and trust. He goes into Egypt, passing his wife off as his sister, and comes out with little faith, and comes out of Egypt with great faith, understanding that God can redeem. God can fight for your cause if you stay true to it. I think this season God's going to teach us faith. He's going to teach us to trust Him. Okay? You hear me? That means don't back off when things go wrong very quickly. You're going to say, God, what are you teaching me? Or do I stand my ground, or do I give up, or do I give in? Don't let circumstances overwhelm you. When you're weak in faith, ask God for strength in faith. Strengthen me, O God. But this year you will not give up like you did last year. This way, we're not going to be cowards. Some of you ought to this year pray for boldness such as never before. When I was on that ship and I lay on that man's bed, I prayed for boldness. I said, everybody's going to call you crazy. You're going to see the impossible. But God, make me crazy for you. Make me bold for you. Let me see the impossible as mission accomplished already before I start. People who do great things and achieve great change in the life of humanity see things other people don't see. They are called crazy, but they must need some tenacity, some kind of boldness that bolts their faith down before they can do it. This year, you're going to ask for that kind of faith.
Amen.
I will not back down, let down. I'm not a quitter.
Yes, wow.
Other people may quit, but God, you make me stable, make me persistent. You know, it's amazing that out of Jesus' teachings that he taught us in prayer, the resounding key to every prayer teaching was persistence. It was shameless importunity. Importunity means boldness, obstinacy. Stay there until something comes through. May God grant us as leaders shameless opportunity. We're seeing it with Theresa May. May God bless her. I thank God that we have at least, even if she's wrong, we have a leader that's not bending to everybody's whims. At a time of crisis like this. May God make you and me leaders that don't bend to public opinion, don't bend to everybody's whim, that stand their ground and believe. I may be sincerely wrong, but at least I believe I can respect you for one thing, that you are convinced and convicted about what you believe on. Because Jesus calls them hirelings that become leaders for sale. Maybe for sale for money, but for sale for public opinion, public applause. Today we have everybody who's bending to everything. God's taking us somewhere. Let's stay with the plan. This year, don't abscond. Don't get off the train. Don't press the eject button in panic. Don't be fooled or deceived. I don't want to hear, oh, I feel so down. I'm not going to go to church. I feel so down. I don't want to go. No, you're going to rise up and do it. You want to remain a baby? God can't trust communities in babies' hands. Only children throw it out. I want to go. Yeah, fine. God says, I won't force you, but don't expect me to deliver my community into your hand. Remember, God is not about your age. It's about your attitude towards the things of God. Am I speaking some truth? You're going to ask God, make me obstinate when I know things are right, when I know something is correct, when I know this is your will. Make me tenacious. You know, this is very important because we're coming against popular opinion. Last year, we did a lot of we started on pop culture. We're going against the grain. And we're going to come, the reason we don't blog, we don't write, we don't resist, is we're afraid. But if we're going to make any difference, we've got to stick our necks out. We've heard of the suffragettes, we've heard of people who made the difference. We've heard of Martin Luther King, who spoke, I have a dream. He says, I may not make that mountain with you. I may not make it because I already see the angels coming for me. He dies the next day. Are you ready to die for what you believe? Are you ready to die for the cause? Are you really? Should I be honest with you? I don't know whether I'm ready. That's why I'm praying every day for it. I don't know whether I'm ready. Sometimes I sit down and I think, I'm a very opinionated woman, as you can tell. If I stick my neck out and I do this thing, and the media start after me, will I back down? Will I run off? I ask myself these questions. And sometimes I tell God, I'm not ready yet. Be honest with yourself. To thyself be true. You can't even take pressure from your mates. Are you ready to lead? Am I ready to lead? Am I talking to YEL properly? Are you ready to lead? You know how embarrassed you are to share Christ with someone in case they reject you? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? One day I was criticizing a senior leader who done some very bad things. And I remember I was in the shower, I'll never forget this, about 3-4 years ago. And I remember God saying to me at that moment, but you want to become big like them, right? I'm like, he said, are you ready? I said, God, I'll come back to you. 3.5 years later, I have not gone back to God. Seriously, I don't even know when I want to become big. When people wanted to become big, they wanted mega status, they wanted God to use them. great, and they send their mom to do the pleading for them. Right? When you get to your kingdom, come my son, sit on your right hand. Jesus said, I have no problem with anybody sitting anywhere. He said, the only thing you have to ask yourself is, can you drink the cup? Can you take the flag? Can you make the sacrifices? Can you die? Because that's what's going to cost. Let me tell you, if we're going to change our world, something in my life has to die. Something in yours has to die. At the moment, I'm too full of myself. You're too full of yourself. You want comfort. Think about it. You can't even wake up at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock to pray
Jesus.
for a half hour,
Whoa.
or an hour, or 2. How are you going to face death, the crucifixion of your reputation, when you're accused of? I was driving and I'm thinking, I don't know what poor Joseph went through to be accused of something. But then after all, Joseph slept with that woman once, nobody would know. It wasn't like he had a local church that was going to be inspecting him. After all, everybody would understand that he was under pressure. Okay, stay on the God train. Let's do this thing together till we get there. It's a threefold call, you, me, and him. It can't be easily broken. I'm going to just wind up and I'll take a couple of questions. We haven't even begun yet. That was just a warm-up stretch. Because I want to take you through grace this year. The reason Paul made it is that he said, I'm a prisoner of grace. They commended Paul and Silas to become prisoners of grace. This year, everywhere you turn, grace will answer for you. I'm not talking about the Pentecostal stuff of just proclaiming something. I'm talking about understanding. Paul says, I am who I am by the grace of God. We're going to be leaders by the grace of God. We're going to understand how grace works in our lives. And before we get to grace maybe another time, I want to say to you, these are exciting times. Walls are crumbling. Every time you see how hot the battle gets, know how sweet the victory is too. Very exciting times. The world is in upheaval. Let me tell you, the world is so much in upheaval. It's almost like you throw some. Have you ever thrown rice or flour, anything up in the air? It determines where it's going to settle. Who's going to catch it? Who's going to determine how things are going to land after all the chaos is settled? You and I. And we're going to create more leaders. We're going to affect our friends and our neighbors and create more leaders to make this world what God designed it to be. These are exciting times. I told you we're breaking through the limits. A limit is a point or a level beyond which something does not or may not extend or pass. Whatever it is that told you this is how far you go, it's extended. It has no more capacity to tell you that anymore. It can also be defined as a restriction on the size or amount of something permissible or possible. So life has told you you're restricted. Your experience has told you you're restricted. Your finances tell you you're restricted. Everything in your life tells you you're restricted. Everybody wants to define what you can do and what you can't do. What is a boundary? A line which marks the limits of an area dividing line. Now that's what life is about, but let me bring in the equation called God. Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20 says this, now unto him that is able, please read it. Ephesians 3:20. Yes, please read it. 3:20.
Now, to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine.
This is how God introduces himself to us. To him, he's him. Like, imagine God coming to you and saying, hello, what's your name, my friend? Denzel. Denzel. The Denzel? Okay. Denzel. My name is God. I am he who is able to do what? Exceedingly, immeasurably, yes?
More than all we ask.
More than what you ask or think. I want you this year to see God like that. Who is God? He's able, that one who is able to do exceedingly, immeasurably above all that I ask, think, or imagine. This is important. It's not just something that we close the service with. He says he is able. The word able means he has capability. In his performance, this is how he performs. So God says, whenever I'm performing, I want you to see a God who performs beyond what you could ask or think or imagine. It means more. Everybody say the God of the more. This year I want to introduce to you the God of the more. The God of the more. The key focus is on him, it's not on the problem. It's never on the problem. It's always on him. Whenever you face a problem as a leader, remember,